This video is designed to just quickly show how to solve using a function rule. And what I mean by solve is either find the domain or the range. How to solve for a function rule given ordered pairs. And then the last thing we're going to hit on is a function rule situation given a story problem and some data. Okay, so real quick, when we're looking at this, we want to annotate the question a little bit. So it says solve for the unknown domain, which means I want to find the domain, which is an x value. So what that means is I'm looking for this value, and I know this value. Range is y. So all I need to do is take these values and plug them into that equation there to solve for each of these x's that I don't know. So real quick, we could just do 13 equals 3x plus 4. What I did is I took this 13 and put it where the y is, because the y is our range value. Subtract 4 from both sides. 9 equals 3x. Divide by 3. X is equal to 3. So if we were in a table, that would give us the point 3 for a domain, 13 as an output value. We could then plug this 19 equals 3x plus 4. Subtract 4 from both sides. 15 equals 3x. Divide by 3. X is equal to 5. So what that says is if I put 5 into the equation, I would get 19 out of the equation. And the last one says plug in 25 equals 3x plus 4. Subtract 4. 21 equals 3x. Divide by 3. X is equal to 7. So if I put 7 in, I'll get 25 out. And that's it in order table form. This one says solve for the unknown range. Range means we're now solving for that y. They've given us the domain, so I'll take these values and plug them in, and I'll solve for that range value there. So all I need to do is replace x with each of these numbers here. So y equals 5 times 2, because that's where my x was, minus 3. That's 10 minus 3. 10 minus 3 is 7. So if I'm doing an xy table, if I put 2 in, I'll get 7 out. This one says y equals 5. Replace the x now with 5 minus 3. That's 25 minus 3, which is 22. Put 5 in, get 22 out. That's my ordered pair. Last one, we have an 8. So we go y equals 5 times 8 minus 3. That's 40 minus 3, which is 37. Put 8 in, get 37 out. Now for here, what we're doing is we're looking for the rule. First off, seeing it here in relation form where the ordered pairs are just written side by side horizontally isn't always ideal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly throw that into a table, which will make it easier to see. In with 2, out with 5. In with 4, out with 13. In with 6, out with 21. This is similar to this question here, so we're just going to do it one time now that I put it in table format. First things first, you're asking, how can I make 2 equal 5? I notice that the number can get bigger. To get bigger means either I have an easy addition or subtraction, or easy addition or multiplication problem. If I am multiplying though, I'll be multiplying by an integer because the numbers are getting bigger. 2 plus 3 is 5, 4 plus 3 is not 13, so that doesn't work. So I'm already thinking it's going to be a two-step. First thing I'm going to do is try times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So that rule doesn't work. So now we could try maybe times 3. If I do times 3, 2 times 3 is 6, minus 1 would give me 5. 4 times 3 is 12, minus 1 gives me 13 though. That doesn't work. So we try again. 2 times 4 is 8, minus 3 is 5. 4 times 4 is 16, minus 3 is 13. 6 times 4 is 24, minus 3 is 21. So what we know is that every answer output is equal to 4 times any x value, take away 3. And again, we plug 2 in, 4 times 2 is 8, minus 3 is 5. Put 4 in, that's 16, minus 3 is 13. Put 6 in, 4 times 6 is 24, minus 3 is 21. Down here, we have a little bit of a situation with where we are given points, but we aren't given the ordered pairs nor the rule. Easiest way to address a question like this is to quickly throw it in table format. Just get the ordered pairs. It says 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, and 8, 5. If I look here, my numbers are decreasing. So either it's a straight subtraction problem or I'm going to be multiplying again. But this time I would have to multiply by a fraction because multiplying by fractions causes numbers to decrease. Multiplying by integers causes numbers to increase from input to output, decreased input to output if we multiply by a fraction. So I know it's not a straight subtraction because 4 minus 1 is 3, but 6 minus 1 is not 4. So I'm going to think of a fraction I can multiply by. The easiest one would be a half. So that's the first one I'm going to check. 4 times a half is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. Now, if this is a good rule, it'll work here as well. 6 times a half is 3, plus 1 is 4. 8 times a half is 4, plus 1 is 5. So we actually got pretty lucky there. It was an easy fraction to work with. Y equals 1/2 times each input, and then to that we'll add 1, and we're good to go. Last question. You can see I already started setting it up a little bit. We have a little bit of information here that's definitely important. We're 200 miles away. We're traveling at 50 miles an hour. This letter D is going to be represented by miles. This letter T is going to be representing time in hours, right? So those are our key points here. This rule is essential to this entire situation. D equals 200 minus 50t. So it says our distance that we have to drive is equal to 200 minus those 50 miles each hour that we drive. And now from here, I knew that the maximum distance I had to drive was 200, so that's set up. And now I can just try to solve and eventually be able to graph and solve for this question right here. What we have right here is a quick math problem that we can do x's and y's for. If we input 0, that's the easiest thing to do, because what that tells me is if I've driven 0 time, what do I have? Plug 0 in. 200 minus 0 is 200. If I graph that, it's 0, 200. That means if I drive nowhere, or for no time, I've gone nowhere. I still have 200 miles to go. The question then becomes, how long will it take me? X is time. Y is distance. How long will it take me so I only have 0 distance to go? I can rewrite this equation. D equals 200 minus 50t. And this time replace D with 0. To solve that, 0 equals 200 minus 50t.
May I have your attention, please? Will all the members of the boys' baseball team please report to the boys' locker room?
Sorry about
all members
this.
of the boys' baseball team please report to the boys' locker room.
But we're too far along to stop, so we're just going to continue anyway. Here, what I'm going to do now is solve this as a two-step. Subtract 200 from both sides. That's negative 200 equals negative 50t. Now we divide by negative 50 on both sides. T equals a positive 4. So that tells me that my time is 4 hours when I have 0 distance to go. The last piece is this right here, which is 1.5 hours. So all I need to do is plug that into my equation. D equals 200 minus 50 times 1.5. D equals 200. 50 times 1.5 is 75. 200 minus 75 is 125. So that tells me that when I have to, once I've driven 1.5 hours, I still have 125 miles to go.